Hello my friends and welcome back. It's Friday, the end of the week. Happy Friday to you. At the end of the day, I'm gonna open a cold brewski with my friends. You see a horse on the screen. It's not a random horse. It's a Russian horse forced into the Russian servitude, but the specific story goes that this horse defected. Yes, two of them actually. They defected to the Ukrainian side. Ukrainians captured two Russian horses. Would you ever have guessed that the biggest war after World War II would have this kind of news in it, that Ukrainians capture enemies' horses? First of all, it's weird that Russians even have cavalry, but they do, literal cavalry. United States has cavalry units to this day, but usually they are armored infantry with tanks. But when you say Russian cavalry unit, it's literal cavalry. Let's watch the story, and I gotta give credit to the looks of this dude. Looks like a Cossack fighter with a mustache and bald head, true Ukrainian soldier from the past. But yeah, let's share this beautiful story with the horses. Once again, enemy used cavalry. All the groups that moved were destroyed. They had no success. The horses remained alive. By the way, I gotta give credit. I saw the video of how they unalived the troops on top of the horses. They circled around with the drones to lure the troops off the horses in panic because they didn't want to hurt the horses, and then zeroed in on them, not hurting the precious horses. That's incredibly well done. When they moved towards our position, the personnel were warned. The horses were not injured. They are now next to our position. We will subsequently evacuate them along with the wounded. What a love. It's just a good way to start my Friday, knowing that these two horses are now alive and well and on the good side of history. That's wonderful. I hope they're together, they're friends. My friends, we got some funny stuff coming up today, but I gotta remind you to go and get my book. A lot of funny stuff happening here also. It looks angry and mean and warlike, but it's actually quite of a comedy. You know me, I make fun of even the darkest of topics. And I know some people cannot stand that and some people love it. So if you do love that dark humor, go and get 8 missions in Ukraine. Links in the description below. We continue with great news, and this is a first also in the 4 years of war. The first Russian Shadow Fleet tanker in history was denied entry into the Baltic Sea. You see, the Baltic Sea, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, Sweden, all of these countries next to it, but also Germany has territorial waters on the Danish Strait. That's the Danish Strait right here. And they can deny or allow any ship that goes through the Danish Strait to pass through their waters. If they deny it, the ship cannot enter to the Baltic Sea, where Russian St. Petersburg port and the Baltic Sea fleet is located. So basically Denmark, Sweden and Germany, they control the entry to the Baltic Sea through their strait, the territorial waters right here. And Germany denied this crude oil tanker. Davian is the name. It's wonderful. Now Davian is going up north, I think, to Murmansk, to the White Sea. But it was denied. It's pretty. I think we should do that a lot more. Even if they do go through, we should detain these ships. But definitely don't let that garbage to the Baltic Sea. Hey, I swim in that sea. I live here in Estonia, in the capital. I swim, sometimes I do winter swimming, so now I go into my ice hole right here. I don't want to swim in the same sea where this Russian crude oil tanker is floating. I don't want to do that, so thank you. Dankeschön, Germans. My friends, it is cold in Ukraine. In Kyiv area, it is -15, -20, sometimes Celsius. Correct me here if I'm wrong, but in Fahrenheit it should be like close to 0. It's really, really, really cold. And Russians have done it. Russians have destroyed majority of Ukrainian electrical and heat producing infrastructure, resulting in 15 to 20 plus hours without electricity and heat per day in the capital, for example, meaning it's really cold in apartments and workplaces. The more Russians push Ukrainians, the more we see the real nature of the Ukrainians. And let me tell you, it's a diamond. We have found a diamond of a people. They get stronger, like a diamond. You push it, it gets stronger. The bigger pressure you put into it, the greater of a diamond comes out. Check it out. Do you know what the joke is? in Ukraine, there is an energy collapse. A very large part of the energy capacity has been knocked out. One of the coldest winters in years. Air and energy terror continues. And then establishments, deliveries, trains run. The post office works. There is communication and people go skiing and clip memes about Julka. This is effing fantastic. When the going gets tough, remember that this country is in an absolute darkness and providing still the services what many countries on normal terms won't provide. I gotta agree, being there 8 times, as my book says, I gotta say it again, improvise, adapt and overcome. The toughest of a situation. Have you been cold like that? Even I haven't. I live in Estonia, I'm all good. Life is wonderful here. Being in an apartment when there is -degrees and no heating, it's gonna be so cold, so miserable. It's even hard to keep yourself happy. For example, one way to get heat is a candle stove. It's very primitive, very easy. Only minus is you gotta go through a lot of the candles. You go through tens of these per day. So you gotta have hundreds, if not thousands. But it does work. The candles heat up the bricks. And perhaps there's water on top also, which doesn't really get warm. But it saves the candle heat and then radiates it back to the room. This might get a smaller room to 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, which is not gonna freeze you to death. So yeah, if you have ordered a lot of candles online, you're ready for this stuff. I know I have. We're getting ready for stuff in Estonia. We can bear through it. The Ukrainians are bearing through it. For example, this here is a Swedish embassy in Kyiv. It's very cold, so they're wearing jackets inside. And that's all. Russia is pouring tens of billions into these air attacks. And they have to wear jackets inside. Again, smiles on the faces of the people. These are beautiful people. It's a beautiful nation who becomes tougher like a diamond, more beautiful like a diamond the more you push them. Look at that. It's -15 outside and Russia took away all the heating electricity. What Ukrainians are doing? Hey, let's build an igloo from colorful glass and snow. This is just, life gives you lemons. You make a beautiful igloo out of those lemons. Look at that. I gotta give it to them. And their diamond is the best reference. I couldn't make any better one. There's a massive power outage. These guys in Kyiv set up a generator, big one, and they continue their party with headlamps and flashlights from the phones. Moral, so important. You gotta keep the moral up. So you might think, oh, they're wasting electricity. They're wasting the diesel to create this party. The moral boost they get from this party in -15. They're all together, they have a drink, they party. Hey, I don't know if anybody remembers, but the Blitz in London, you gotta keep your moods up. You gotta keep dancing, you gotta keep smiling. The craziest parties happen during the Blitz. If you're 90 years old, perhaps you can correct me here if I'm wrong, and you're from England. But yeah, this is necessary and I love it. I love to see it. And I'm so glad the Ukrainians are on our side because they're a fantastic ally to have. Do you know who else is a fantastic ally to have? I only have 3 now, but I'm proud of these 3. They are my friends. Monthly members on Buy Me a Coffee. I haven't named for a long time because I haven't gotten any new ones, but now I have 3 new ones. We have Ron. Thank you, Ron. Then Gordon Hiuma. You never want to sign up for monthly membership, but every month he comes back like one-time payments. And I will keep mentioning your name. Hiuma, by the way, if you didn't know, is the 2nd biggest island of Estonia, giving this guy his family name or just a fun name to have as a 2nd name. Thank you, Gordon. And Tom van der Heide, again, a legendary chap coming back time and time again. Thank you, my friends. Now, my friends, I want to show you clips from the Russian army. This is a Russian soldier, seems to be very drunk. And he's really proud, standing in this muddy road, because he is like his grandfather. See, in Russia, they don't really have religion as in Christianity. Yes, I meant what I said. They have a religion of death and the cult of death. They worship the ending of the Second World War. They worship the 9th of May, Victory Day. That's what they do. They all want to be like their grandfather who stormed the Reichstag. So, this one, video for future generations, so that they could see the roads we walked. That we are no worse than our grandfathers and fathers. Show the road. Show this robot. Look at this Wally. This is the Russian Wally. The sound. I can't. He's coughing his like lungs out. He's super drunk. There's a drunk Russian Wally going around in the mud. They are having the time of their life. This is what the Russians worship. They do. I kid you not. The whole society is built to worship and death. The cult of death, of dying like their grandfathers did while storming the Reichstag. It's super weird. They never moved on from that. And it's funny sometimes. But it's not so funny when you are 63 years old and you have really injured your vertebrae in the spine. You cannot really walk or lift things. And you're sent on an assault in the Russian army. This lad, mad lad right here, brings us his story. So, these are the kind of fighters you have, Putin. Putin's special forces. Today, 6 people like that were sent to the front, their positions, to assault Konstantinovka or something. Scheiße. This is my bulletproof vest. I almost feel bad for this man, but then I remember that he signed the contract to go and kill Ukrainians, so I stopped feeling bad. Well, I have handed in the automatic weapon to the weapon storage room for now. I really can't lift it. So this man, yeah, injured his vertebrae, cannot really walk. He can walk with a cane, but he cannot lift almost anything past like waist. And he is sent to assault Konstantinovka tomorrow. I don't know how, he cannot really walk, but yeah, I mean, what he can do in the eyes of the Russian officers, he can soak up a few Ukrainian drones, and that's why they're sending him. A meat body is good in the eyes of the Russian officers because it wastes Ukrainian ammunition. That's how they think, that's how the Russian leadership thinks. So yeah, this soldier here, a special forces soldier, goes on to show us how the helmet goes and everything. Yeah, he should be resting in a sanatorium, but he's on the front because he's Russian. I wanna bring you next clip also, just to show you the nature of the Russian army. I continue to do this because sometimes it's very funny, sometimes it's very bizarre, and in this case it's eerie, or I'll let you decide. My friends, yes, after me too, my friend, I don't remember if there was electricity or not. A bit off his ear. They ordered another prisoner of war to bite off the ear of my fellow soldier. Bit off an ear, spat out the piece of that ear. Then the one who bit it off was forced to eat it. Yeah, that's the Russian officers' mindset. They compete with each other who finds more creative ways to bring pain to their subordinates, be them prisoners of war or their own soldiers. In this case, prisoners of war, they force them to bite off each other's ears and eat them. That's the Russian army of 2026. That was the Russian army of 1700s. It has always been like that. Nothing new about it. I'm just saying this because I feel like now the West sees it as we see it in Estonia. We have seen it for 300 years, but I think in the last 4 years, Germans, perhaps the Americans, Danish, I've started to see it also as it is, the realistic picture. For example, this is the 143rd Regiment of the 127th Motorized Rifle Division, and look what they're doing. This guy has no arm, he's an amputee, and for some reason they are doing this to him. Take a seat and think for a while. Turned out like a fir tree. Listen, let me go. Be quiet or we'll gag you too. I'm telling you. Yeah, I don't know even what to call it. I don't know what this method is called. They're very creative on this, but it's pain. It's inflicting pain, which pains me. It's like the Russian culture. It's just there to radiate pain on their own people and outside. Just you gotta build very strong barriers against any kind of Russian culture and imperialism. It's just going to destroy everything it touches. It's like a disease. You can fight a disease, but you gotta protect yourself from it first, then you can fight it. For example, another instance, the video just came out of Russia. Check it out. Why are you pouring it out here? Now everything is going to stink of your scheiß. There's nothing to see here. So yeah, they're pouring it right on the street. I think they did that in the medieval ages, like 1,000 years ago, 800 years ago. But in Russia, it's 2026. I love how Jake Bro gave us the best comment. Life in Russia is pretty hard. How old is this Russian lady? Like 42? Yeah, because I don't know what's with it, but Russian women, like they age notoriously fast. I don't know why. I really haven't any clue, but they do. This might be like a 40 years old woman here. Even Mother Nature has something to say about the Russians. I mean, if you go around destroying everything, I guess Mother Nature destroys you. This time it was a beaver, and it did the work that the Ukrainians really want to do, but they haven't had it in their priorities. Beavers almost left 13,000 people without internet. They chewed through a main communication cable in ravine in the Arkhangelsk region. Specialists had to travel to the scene of the accident at night and urgently lay 110 meters of new cable. Look at that beautiful beaver. Wonderful. I'm sure he was trained by the Ukrainian Hur. He is a bioweapon. Or she, might be a woman, a bioweapon beaver, chewing through the Russian internet cables. That's gonna be in the next Russian propaganda show, I'm sure. What I mentioned about defending yourself against the virus, it goes against flu, it goes against COVID, it goes against the Russians. You can fight them, but you gotta protect yourself first, then you can start to fight them. So, protecting yourself, you gotta use all means necessary, because it's about survival. Dealing with the Russians is always about your survival. Finland knows this. Definitely they do. They have that kind of history. Finland has officially started to procure anti-personnel landmines, creating a wartime stockpile. The country, which finally withdrew from the Ottawa Convention 4 days ago, aims to start training troops and manufacturing anti-personnel mines domestically as soon as possible. We in Estonia are doing the same. We're setting up a factory right now in Estonia to produce explosives, and we're gonna make them into anti-personnel landmines. Now, they were banned under the Ottawa Convention because the world forgot that Russia exists. But when you have a disease like Russia in the world, you gotta mine the hell out of those borders. That's the only way you can defend yourself. So yeah, anti-tech mines, anti-personnel mines, just put them at the border with Russia and saturate the hell out of that area, and you're gonna be good. Yeah, I'm glad Finland sees the light, we see the light. I hope the rest of Europe follows suit. Now we go to the Caspian Sea, right, where an Iranian bulk carrier sunk. We don't know why they sunk, perhaps because of a Ukrainian drone delivering presents, who knows. We know that 14 crew members were rescued. The ship came from Iran and was on course to the port of Astrakhan, Russia. Now this very same carrier and carriers like that going through the Caspian Sea from Iran to Russia have been known to carry Shahed drones, missiles, mortar rounds, like ammunition and weapons. So if this ship sunk, a lot of weapons went down under with it, so fishes can have fun with them now. They are sleeping with the fishes now. So yeah, this is very good news for Ukraine, because another huge batch of weapons is no longer against them. Talking about ships, in the previous video I mentioned that near the port of Novorossiysk, 2 Russian Shadow Fleet oil tankers were hit. Now additional information came out that it was actually 4 tankers. Russian sources now report that no less than 4 tankers of Russian Shadow Fleet have been struck in the Black Sea. Aside from previously reported Delta Harmony, what a name, and I don't know who I'm offending, but that's a stripper name, isn't it? I'm sorry if I offended anybody. Delta Harmony, Matilda, the Freud or Freuds, and the Delta Supreme were also struck. All of these ships are somewhere near the coast of Novorossiysk, Russia. An absolute bad day for Russia's Shadow Fleet, but also predictable development. Ukraine has officially imposed a full embargo of Russian oil. I remind you, Black Sea Fleet supposed to be the biggest, baddest fleet on the Black Sea, and they're now pushed into the port by a country with no navy, Ukraine. They're doing that with air drones and maritime drones. It's an unbelievable course of events if you look at the span of 4 years. Russian Navy, I mean, in 2022 you have would have never made that guess that Russian Navy in 4 years cannot leave their ports in Black Sea. That people would have called you crazy. But no, that's the reality now. And it's good. Now, my friends, let's go back to Russia. Russia has a severe lack of workers because a lot of the workers have been sent to soak up Ukrainian ammunition on the front. So they gotta import workers. They're doing that from China, from India, from Pakistan. These guys supposed to be from India. In some areas of India there is no snow at all, ever. So these guys don't know what to do with the snow. But the work needs you to clear up the snow. So this is how they do it. It looks so nice and peaceful with the music, especially. Look at that, dude. It's a very Russian way. I've seen like 10 Russians working on one project and nobody does nothing, but they look like they're doing something. It's a very Russian way of working. But in this case, yeah, they're Indian migrant workers who are learning their first steps with snow, just throwing it around somewhere. And talking, I guess. Very peaceful. Not very productive, but very peaceful. Let's now go to Ukraine, my friends, because Ukraine now has a new defense minister, and he is the youngest defense minister Ukraine ever had. And he is truly young. He's 34 years old, and it looks also very young. But don't let yourself to be fooled. This man is a wizard of logistics and pushing projects to go. He was one of the guys who led the build of DIA, Ukrainian system for everything, a passport, healthcare, identification, money. It's all in one system online, and it's safe and it works. And he was the leader of that project. He's really good at what he does. He's like a startup guy. You know, these guys are mentally tough, insane people. He's one of those. Logistical wizard. Since 2019, he served as Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation and Vice Prime Minister. He led the country's key digital reforms, including DIA City, and the Army of Drones initiative. His name is Mikhailo Fedorov, and now he held a speech in the Rada, which is the Ukrainian parliament, and I will bring you the main points from that speech. He already hits us with some facts. You have a glimpse of how this guy thinks. And I gotta say that again, he is really good at what he does. And what he does is make things work efficiently. Fedorov is the best Ukraine can offer right now. New Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov. The top 50 of the 400 drone units deliver 70% of enemy losses. Grow the rest and results explode. Leadership will be judged by results, not titles. Ukraine built Starlink access. The Army of Drones, the drone line, Brave One, United 24 initiatives, the Brave One market. We didn't run project, we built new war market from scratch and enabled asymmetric strikes by HUR and SBU. At the invasion start, Ukraine had 7 drone makers. Now it's 500. Electronic warfare grew from 2 makers to 200 companies. Missile firms from 0 to 20. We chose asymmetric war, FPVs over ATGMs, drones over shells. One NGU unit destroyed $15 billion in enemy gear. With SBU Alpha, we wiped out 300 plus Russian air defenses. And he goes on with these facts. The point is, Ukraine has the foundation to build an insanely efficient army. They're good at what they do, Ukrainian army, but they can be much more efficient because there is still corruption and Soviet mindset in the officer corps. To change that, you gotta come from the top, and this guy is now at the top. So I have big hopes for him. There are big changes necessary in the Ukrainian army, and I hope to see that he does them. And number one thing is to talk about the mistakes, to bring them to the light. I hope he does that. It's a scary thing to do, but that will cure the problem the fastest. And now finally, I will bring you a Russian telegrammer, Fighterbomber, reaction to this new beast of a Ukrainian defense minister. Is a logistical beast, a mental beast. A 34-year-old citizen has become the Minister of Defense of Ukraine. Can you imagine a 34-year-old becoming our Minister of Defense? Or even just minister? And not even the minister's son, it would probably be a shaman. The thing is that Fighterbomber, a Russian, thinks that you gotta be a minister's son because it's like a corrupt place and then you get to be a minister because you're a son of a minister. It doesn't work like that in Ukraine. It used to. They're changing that, and that's the whole point. There is corruption in Ukraine and the whole point is to bring it out, talk about it, show it to everybody, and change it. So Fighterbomber, who is from Russia, which is like one of the most corrupt countries on planet Earth, cannot believe that you can become a minister so young just because you're good at something, not because you're a minister's son. So it shows Fighterbomber's mindset, a Russian mindset, cannot fathom that you could become a young minister if you're extremely good at the job, which Fedorov is. This was it for today, my friends. I have enjoyed this week thoroughly and making videos for you, and I will be back every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. If you don't have anything to do at the meantime and you want to have some dark humor in your life, you know, some spice with that steak, go and get 8 missions in Ukraine. You will laugh and you will cry, sometimes very close to each other. It's a crazy emotional roller coaster, and I advise everybody to read it. Links in the description below. Until my next video, my friends, Slava Ukraini, and bye bye.